Hey guys, it's Nolan. So I hope you are all really well, having a good week so far. It's Tuesday, 28th of June 2022. Going to go through a few charts of interest, break them down, see what could possibly happen, and then take that information away with you. If it resonates with you, if any of these trading ideas resonate with you, then jump on them. As usual, I'll have my bias and direction, but it will be reliant on price action before I get involved. But if there's an end of day maybe set up for some of you guys, that is so if you don't know what an end of day setup is, it means for end of day traders who maybe busy in the day, maybe have a job, and maybe only trade on an evening at night time, maybe only have about 30 minutes to trade each day. That's an end of day trader. So if I see anything like that could potentially be setting up tonight, then I will drop that in for you. First one I want a look at is AUDCAD daily, sitting at fairly decent support zone really here. As you can see, we've got support. We had a fake out when we broke this low here, and then price pushed back up. We've obviously got, if I just draw it in, we've got some resistance here as well. So there's a potential of a range happening here, potential. And what I can see is, well, we've rejected this zone 3 times. Obviously, it could potentially break to the downside. We know this. But as an end of day trader, you could think about, well, let's just say it doesn't break to the downside. And maybe we come and test the resistance again. Maybe this support level will hold, and we could come and test this zone again. Well, one way you could potentially trade this is with a buy stop order. Okay, and I wouldn't necessarily put a buy stop order above this candle, today's candle, because I think that could be easily broken and we could still move down. What I would say is maybe a buy stop above yesterday's high. Okay, so we'd be getting something like this. Stop below today's low or yesterday's low, whichever is the lowest, and then you could be looking at a target midway if you want to, or a target of 1-to-1 if that's what you want to do. And we've got the top of the range here, which gives you a 2-to-1 trade, so that's double your risk. So that's a fairly decent setup. And what I would say is, my personal rule is, if the trade doesn't trigger by the close of the next candle, I close the trade down. So it's something you could think about, and if it doesn't trigger by the by the end of tomorrow's daily candle, then you could just close it down. If we break to the downside and we close below these lows here, then also I would close the trade as well. But yeah, that's something you could think about. We've got, I think we've got this trend line here, but it could be a falling wedge pattern. Let me just draw that in, something like this. So falling wedge pattern can signify the potential of the end of a downtrend. This move down here, obviously we'd be looking for price to break out, which is what we would look for price to break out here before we intraday trade it long, for instance. But as an end of day trader, setting the buy stop above that candle there, this daily candle, let me just sync this onto there. So we'd actually be buying above here, which is a fairly decent breakout of this falling wedge pattern. Of course, if you wanted to go for a bit more of an aggressive entry, you could look for a buy stop above this high here or this high, but I think that looking at the daily, that's a fairly safe as safe as it could be. Safe entry into the market above yesterday's high, because you don't want to get, as an end of day trader, you don't want to get taken in with a false break, etc., etc. So yeah, we could get a break of today's high, but false break of two highs and it not continue to the upside, less likely to happen. So yeah, I like that buy stop above Monday's candle. So keep that in mind. You might want to have a little look at that one. Another chart which potentially would be trading Aussie strength, because this one is, if you're going long on this, we're seeing would basically be buying the Australian dollar and selling the Canadian dollar. So Australian dollar stronger than the Canadian dollar in effect, if this does actually move to the upside. So another pair where we'd be actually looking to buy Aussie strength is Euro Aussie. So I'm looking for shorts potentially on this, because we've got, I'll just show you, we've got this nice bit of resistance here. Again, testing once, twice. You could actually count that as twice and three times there. And again here. Now, we were as a group looking for, it was in our watch list this week, we're looking at this evening star pattern here at resistance. And if price broke this low on the next candle, potentially looking for shorts. But it didn't break the low, it actually moved upwards. Hasn't broken out though. You can see I've actually got an alert here, because I want to know if price does actually break out. But you know, we had this push up, we had this doji candle, we had those buyers there, that buy momentum slowing down, turning into sellers. But next trading day, it didn't break the low. It broke it today, but we haven't got a trade on it at the moment. But you could look at this. You could look at this as a potential short underneath this daily candle. Stops could be above today's daily candle. If you want to put them above there, you could do as well. And problem with that is maybe only looking for a one-to-one trade there based on the daily time frame. So not brilliant. Okay, it's just about okay, a one-to-one. I mean, that's the minimum really I'd be looking for. But it's something there. Now, if you don't want to trade that as an end of day trade because the reward to risk is not brilliant, then of course all you can do is, and if you can intraday trade, you could place an alert below this low, because this is where the sell stop would go. You could place an alert below that low and then look to intraday trade this towards the trend line if we get the price action, obviously. So let me just have a little look at yeah, I mean, there might even be something setting up at the moment here with this push up into the 20 moving average and this bearish candle here. So yeah, intraday traders, there might be a potential here setting up. If you're an end of day trader, you've got the sell stop below this candle. However, reward to risk isn't brilliant. Okay, but if you want to play it a little bit more safer and you are an intraday trader, you don't want to take this one here. Maybe you want to see a new low form. Okay, well, you've got your alert below this low here, which is today's low, and then you can look for price to basically continue to push down, pull back, and then look for a sell setup, maybe coming into the moving averages. Okay, so Euro Aussie shorts potentially. What else do we have? Now, Aussie Kiwi is a little bit different, because Aussie Kiwi, I'm looking for potential shorts, and that would actually mean Aussie would be weaker than the New Zealand dollar. I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. We're still going to need the right price action, but what we have here is a break of this trend line. We do have an evening star pattern here rejecting it, but that it broke the low, but failed to see that bearish momentum, and price has come back and is testing the trend line again. So we might be having some form of bigger correction pattern, okay, you know, a bigger correction pattern and then downside. That is one thick line. So yeah, I would be looking to see how price reacts around this trend line. Okay, obviously if it continues to the upside, then the sell idea is potentially invalid. But I like the fact that we've got this double top pattern here. 1, 2. We do have support here, which we're actually testing at the moment, it could be said. So the way you would the textbook way to trade a double top is a break of the neckline, retest, and short. Well, we did have a retest here and a rejection that failed to see price move down, and we're back into that zone again and where that trend line is. So we'll see how price moves around this trend line, because you know, believe it or not, guys, we could still see Aussie strength and this still move down if the Kiwi dollar is stronger than the Aussie dollar. Okay, but it's just one to have a look at. Okay, again, you know, if price continues to push up, then the sell idea is invalid and we won't take a trade. But you could potentially look for evening star pattern around here on the 4 hour as a way into the market if you like the idea. What else? EURCAD, a little bit surprising actually, because I was looking for the range to play out on EURCAD. We'd moved out from this, we moved up from this 134 and looking for 137.50 to be tested again, but you know, price really struggled, and you know, we found a little bit of minor support here at 136, but that support's been broken now. We've actually closed below it, and yeah, we could be seeing a short setting up, or short trade setting up, maybe even back down to 134. But yeah, broken support. Textbook technical way to trade this is to look for a retest of the zone. So it would be nice if price could push up into 136 and then reject. Let's just have a little look with moving averages on the hourly. Not quite set up for me there anyway. I like for price to come and test the 20 moving average and then start to see the rejection. So I would like to see it push up a little bit more, maybe test this low here as a minimum. But yeah, something to look at, because like I say, we've broken this big support area here, 136, now trading at 135.52, close below. Doesn't look to be a false break, so I would be looking for the correction and then sellers to continue for this to push to the downside. Of course, if we push to the upside and we don't see those sellers come in and we continue to push up, then the sell idea again is invalid. Okay, so hopefully you're getting from this that price action is really important before we take these trades. NASDAQ is the last one I want to look at. It's come into a very nice area actually. This is on our watch list this week. So basically we're seeing this potential left shoulder head, and I'm looking for a right shoulder to form, and you know, we've got this support here, resistance broken. Look for the retest, look for longs. What I also like is the fact that we've got this divergence here between these lows. We've got a high low here and a low low there, meaning that that bearish momentum here isn't strong, or it's losing strength. So it would, for me, be a signal to start looking for buyers to come into the market. So we are in an interesting zone. And have we got anything at the moment? We've got a bearish engulfing candle at the moment as we push into that support. But let me just for a second. Yeah, very, very interesting. That resistance there, resistance, testing it now. So we could start to see buyers come in. If we were to see that bearish momentum just slow down and we started to see buyers come in, then that could lead to a buy setup. And, you know, we've got this longer term, well, not longer term, but bigger trend line here where we could actually come and test. So that would be a fairly decent move, you know, a fairly decent amount of points to potentially look to gain. So yeah, big impulse down, correction, it continues down, and now potentially we're starting to change momentum, and those buyers are coming in control of the market. So I'll be looking for longs on the NASDAQ. And if we're looking for longs on the NASDAQ, then, you know, we could be looking for the JPY to sell off. Okay, we might see a little bit of risk on in the market. Risk on would generally mean looking for JPY to be sold off, and that would mean looking for long on JPY pairs, because JPY is always the second part of a currency pair, and if the JPY is particularly weak, then weaker than all the other currencies, then all the JPY pairs will potentially go up. So we could be seeing some risk on in the market coming up. And, you know, the market in general for quite a while now has been in a risk off scenario. Basically, you know, we've seen the likes of all the cryptos, Bitcoin, etc., big drops. You know, Aussie and Kiwi has been particularly weak. The indices just dropping. I mean, crazy moves. So is it about time we saw a little bit of risk on in the market? Could be a longer term, could be short term, who knows. You know, one thing is for sure, trade with price action, because price action, you know, you can have your bias, but price action will keep you out of trouble, if you like. Your bias can absolutely be wrong, and if you've got the price action which agrees with your bias, then take the trade. But if you don't get the price action that agrees with your bias, then you don't take the trade, and you obviously you don't lose any money because you're not taking the trade. So price action is really key, guys. But yeah, those are some charts that I am looking at the moment. This one I really like, actually, and I like AUDCAD as well. So yeah, potential end of day trade today on AUDCAD if you like that one. NASDAQ, keep your eyes on this. Keep your eyes on this, because I'm looking for this inverse head and shoulder pattern. Basically, I'm looking for a right shoulder to form here. So that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then price to move to the upside. All right, guys. So I hope that makes sense. Hopefully, something will set up for us out of these charts. Hopefully, you know, hopefully more than one, who knows, but if one of them sets up, then brilliant. We can look at taking the trade and potentially, I don't know, hopefully make some nice pips or points this week. Anyway, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Please, if you're not already subscribed, please do so. Give the video a like as well. And if you know any other traders that may be interested in the information and the analysis that we send out, share the video as well and ask them to subscribe. Much appreciated, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.